Hello and welcome to Health Coach Tip Tuesday. I am your host, Jess Del Pino, FDNP. And this week, I'm going to be going over your questions about the FDN program. And we might have a special guest joining us. So I'm going to give everyone a moment to join us here. Please start commenting below if you guys have any specific questions about the FDN program, what it's like to get certified, how you can start a business. I mean, whatever it is you guys want to talk about. That's what today's show is about answering your questions live. So again, my name is Jess Del Pino. I am your host. We may have a special guest jumping on in just a bit, but today we're talking about your questions answered. And I also wanted to make sure you guys are aware that if you haven't enrolled in the FDN program yet, if you enroll by the end of October, you're going to get a special bonus, which is a free advanced course in oxalates. It's a really great complement to our training and definitely something you want to keep in mind when you're working with clients. So if you haven't enrolled, make sure you comment below. We're going to send you some information so you can connect with one of our course advisors and learn how you can get set up and enrolled this month so you don't miss that offer. So for today, our topic is your FDN questions answered. And so I want you guys to comment below and let us know what questions you have about the course. What do you have about the training, about what it's like to get certified so that we can answer those for you today. And I have a special guest just for you guys. Welcome, Reed Davis. How are you, Reed?
Doing fantastic. Thank you, Jessica. I know you were doing the show at this time, and so I thought I'd just pop on and see if anyone had anything still they were asking, and I could give some updates.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I'm just telling everybody who's watching us to start commenting because today's show is all about getting their questions answered, but I'd love to hear what sort of updates you have for us, Reed.
Well, gosh, so many, and we have a big list of people that we send out emails to who are not FDNs yet. There's only two kinds of people in the world, FDNs and not quite FDNs yet. Anybody who is in the health space will want to know about us, whether they are looking just to repair their own health or whether they're looking to help other people with their health or both. A lot of FDNs, I find that to be really interesting, are on their own personal health journey as well. And it's perfectly fine to have a health quest of your own as you go to seek and help other people. So I just love that about FDN. And there's so many things happening in the health space now. It's almost impossible to get your arms around all of it. I'll say that it's growing really fast because people want more control over their own health. So there's obviously things going on. Everyone, if you read the news, which you shouldn't, or if you watch the news, which you shouldn't, too much anxiety, too much crap. But there's all this stuff going on, and so I'm just finding that people want control, and the only way to get control is to take it and keep it, because if you don't, someone else will.
Yeah.
And there are those who would like control over your health. It's kind of always been that way. But when I started in this business 22 years ago, the first thing I noticed was that people were not in control of their own health. They were going from practitioner to practitioner to practitioner, or specialist to specialist, doctor to doctor, therapy to therapy, from one diet to the next, from one product to the next, from one whatever it might be. And they weren't getting their health problem resolved. And I thought that was a big ripoff. And I decided I was going to be a true helper. But back to the fact is that the mistake those people were making was to just give their health to someone else. I'll get to this guy and see what he didn't do good. The next lady, with this therapist, the next doctor, the next specialist. So you keep giving your health over to someone else and to see what they can do to help you. That's not really a bad thing. These aren't dumb people.
Yeah.
They're just barking. They're just circling the wrong tree, and they really need to take responsibility. And so that's how I developed FDN was, here's how you can take that responsibility. run the labs on yourself, get the data that you really need. What are the healing opportunities? And then here's how you fix it. Isn't that right?
Yep.
And so you could you could always chime in here. I don't want to
Well,
steal.
yeah, but I mean, I think
I don't want to steal your
the best thing about FDN, right, is that we do get to run the labs on ourselves first, and that we treat ourselves as our own clients first. So, like Reed said when he first came on, it's a fantastic endeavor to go and work on your own health, and then you can use that to help other people. And it also is going to keep you going. As you start a business, any business is going to take a long time. It's going to fail millions of times. But when you have that personal passion and it starts with you, it's definitely going to help carry you through. And that's kind of the wonderful thing about FDN, is that it kind of does so many different things, right? Like, you're helping your own health. You can help other people. You can start a business. There's so much that comes along with this.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been going around the country speaking about this. The 2 weeks ago, I was in Phoenix, Arizona. I gave a TED talk kind of a thing at a big convention, and then just this past weekend, I was only back to my home in San Diego for 2 nights, and I left for Miami. So I just got back from speaking at it was called the Biohackers Congress. It was a really good group. It was in Miami, Florida. Florida right now is a really good state to be in. Me, I'm happy everywhere I go, but it's really a wide open state. Everyone was having a good time, forming community, and that's what helped us to really enroll people into the FDN course. Was it's not just about pursuing your own health, which it is, and then learning to run labs and use natural protocols so you can help others and make a good living at it, because it is that too.
Yep.
But the funnest thing is the community that has formed around it. We're all after the same thing. We all want to help others. We're all willing to walk the talk, and we like hanging out with like-minded people. So we did that, and there was really great speakers there. I was one of them. And then we had a booth. We're a vendor at this thing. So you have all the vendors and speakers and the organizers, and then you have all the public coming through, and you never know what you're going to get. Mostly people who are working on a problem of their own that they haven't found any solutions for in standard medicine, or even in functional medicine, integrative medicine, comprehensive, complementary. And we're just one step, I would say, past all of that. You can take all of the, way past standard medicine, integrative medicine, complementary medicine, even functional medicine. We're a paradigm, just a step forward of that. And we're taking quantum leaps because it's about empowering the people. Those systems are great. Some of them very good, way better than they used to be, looking for underlying cause, but they're still just diagnosing and treating and, putting people on programs and not really giving health back into the hands of the people.
Well, and like you said, it's part of being a part of community, right? Our community spans so many different aspects of health, whether it be fitness or traditional medicine, chiropractors, just the random person who's looking to help themselves. There's so many people that come into the FDN program and become a part of the community that it starts to expand what we're able to do and how we're able to help people. And that's why today was really about trying to get people who have questions about this course, like, how can you become a part of this community? We already have one question from Aziza. She's saying, I'm in South Africa, so she wants to know the course cost and how long the course takes. So I already sent her the breakdown and the conversion to her currency. But as far as how long the course takes, I'd say about 6 to 8 months if you're looking to put in about 8 to 10 hours per week into just the coursework. And then you have about 2 to 3 months of practicals that you have to take in order to get certified. So 6 to 8 months isn't that unreasonable. But we do give you 12 months to complete the course. So you have some breathing room there. You don't have to, rush through, right, Reed?
Well, it's self-paced, like you said. Actually, the amount of time it would take if you started today and did it for 8 hours, if you did it full time, you get through really quick. But you don't want to. You want to take your time. You want to run all the labs on yourself, which are included in the tuition. We ship them to you. You run the saliva testing, urine testing, stool testing, blood testing, and things on yourself. And not only will you be going through all the lessons, there's little quizzes and lots of things, but you'll be meeting one-on-one with your own mentor to go over your own situation. You may not have a lot of health problems, but you're still going to find things you can work on and fine tune and get better. A lot of what we do is based on just peak performance for athletes or anti-aging, even reversing things. And all of that is on top of, we handle some very serious, complex cases in some of the time. The way I like to put it, Jessica, is look, we're all on a stairway to health, and no one's at the top.
Nope.
I've never met a perfectly healthy person. There's some people who act it and might even look it, but as to whether they can improve or not, you can always improve. And
Yeah.
for those that are in desperate shape, you're okay. You're going to be okay. You're on a pathway or stairway, I like to say. You just have a lot of steps to go, but the steps, the way that we define it, are easy to take. They're one at a time, and it's one step at a time. And let's get the data. Let's get the labs done first, and get the data, and learn about you, and get to know you, and what your strengths and weaknesses are, and we'll capitalize on the strengths, and we'll overcome the weaknesses, and you'll be moving up the stairway, and you may pass some of us, and then you can help others up the way with you. It just depends how many steps you have to take.
Well, and part of what you learn through FDN is that it's a very simple program that you can really work on with anyone. It's just the specifics that change depending on the person. So we have a program called Dress for Health Success, which stands for diet, rest, exercise, stress reduction, and supplementation. And we go through each one of those areas with every client. And part of that is running labs, because we're looking for patterns of dysfunction and opportunities to help the body and support it and heal. So with that, you really can work with anyone. Doesn't matter how chronic the issue is, doesn't matter how well they may be. Like Reed said, there's always room for improvement. And this is a really great way to walk that through with any client. And so it really helps you to start a business also, right, Reed? It's very easy.
Well, it's designed for that. Originally, I was an independent practitioner, and I was working from a clinic in Southern California, and I spent 10 years there developing the step-by-step assessment, all the labs, learning all that, applying it to clients, real face-to-face, moms and dads, and you name it, all the principles of healing that I had to systematize, all that. So I was just doing it to build my own practice and our clinic. We had a really nice clinic in Southern California. But then I was encouraged to teach. People kept saying, if you would teach it to others, then you would help a lot more people by training the trainers, so to speak. So that's what I'm doing. And of course I kept it simple, because I was in the clinic educating the patients. I was the patient educator. So, you have to speak in very plain terms. So yeah, it is. I think it's simple. It's complex material, but we speak about it quite simply, and actually have a lot of fun doing it.
Well, just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy, right?
Yeah, I guess. Well, what's the hardest thing about it? I don't know. The hardest, there's 3 steps to helping people. 1 is to run the labs. 2 is you design a custom program based on them for the individual. It's very individualized. Those are the 2 easy parts. The third part is getting them to do it. But so the labs that they have and the protocol, it's the way we lay it out and systematize it, we make that third step easier. So you're not just dumping a bunch of stuff in their lap and saying, good luck, I'll see you in 3 months. We're saying, for the next 3 months, we're going to work together. We're going to help you adopt these habits, new habits sometimes, and there's other things involved, obviously, but um, almost anyone could do it. Look, when my mom was in her late 70s, she finally came to me for help.
Wow.
And she was starting to have some problems. She just never really knew what I did, and but she's old, she's pretty healthy. Well, now she's 91 and she's doing phenomenal. So for the last 12 years or so, she's been following the FDN protocol. So she's 91. She goes out 3, 4, 5 days a week and reads poetry at senior centers, and she writes the poetry. Her brain is just sharp as a tack, and she gets up, she drives her own car over to these senior centers and reads poetry and puts on little. She does little song and dance and stuff like that at 91. It's the cutest thing, and of course, I'm love my mom, but the fact that her brain is so sharp, and she's driving and she's getting around. Um, and it's that kind of a thing. Now I have no access to who's on Facebook, wherever we're streaming to,
Hmm.
uh, and but I do see someone asking a question here.
Yes,
Um,
we got another question from
yeah,
Aziza. Are there choices of courses to take and therefore the option to pay only for the chosen courses? So we do. We have our main course, which gets you certified, gets you access to labs, gets you in the door, a part of the community, really lays the foundation and gives you the backbone of what we do. And then we have a series of advanced courses, which you can take without taking the certification, which are more tailored towards specific issues. Like this month, we're giving away the oxalates course if you enroll in the main course. But we have a thyroid course, a SIBO course, um, a bunch of different courses. Now, you can take those without going through the certification, but you're not going to be able to get access to labs by doing that. And you're not necessarily going to be implemented into the community. That's just for further learning. Now, if you go through the main course and then you want to get those additional trainings, that's probably the best way to do it because it then complements what you learn in our foundational course, right, Reed?
yeah, absolutely. So I would look at this like just this past weekend. I'll just tell you, just we
Mm-hmm.
were so it was Evan and I, and we were at this conference, and there's people coming by the booth. We have a table, and we're explaining what we do to people, and yes, we're recruiting, and Evan was on a discussion panel with some of the other speakers, and I was one of the speakers, and then we're meeting people in between all that, and he we were getting some really good prospects for FDN, some people we thought would make very good FDNs. Most FDNs have a college degree or something like it, and they have some work experience in the health field, not necessarily, but and maybe even a certification or two, like they're a nutritionist,
Mm-hmm.
a trainer, maybe some allied practitioner, Reiki. You could be a psychologist. You could be a chiropractor, acupuncture. So all kinds of walks of people. So and one thing came up was about the community. What kind of support am I going to get once I graduate?
Yeah.
Well, there's more people in our alumni than there are in our course right now. We have maybe 200 active students, but we have well over 500 members of our alumni who are actively getting support on a daily basis from it's paid support. We take care of all of our members in a lot of different ways. So you could start, Aziza, with one of our advanced courses. See if you kind of like this kind of a thing, and but you'd be better off just jumping into the main course. And what I wanted to say about it was that it's not an expense or cost; it's an investment.
Yeah.
So one of the people who signed up this weekend um, was considering going back to school for a couple of years. And I said, I don't need to laugh, but I said, look, you're going to come out of that way in debt. Those
Yeah.
things, 40, 50, 80,000. I don't know how much it is, depending on the program. You're going to come out very much in debt. and you won't have any customers, and you'll have no practical experience, and
Yep.
you're going to have. So our course, it's US. We usually don't talk about money on this show, but it's a little under $8,000,
Hmm.
and it'll be done in 6 months. So it's not 2 years and 80,000.
Yeah.
It's 6 months and 8,000, and you'll be fully prepared to go out and have the support to start your own health entrepreneur business. You'll
Yeah.
be a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner on top of whatever else you already have. So if you have other things going and you have some customers and you want to take them to a whole new level, be able to charge them a whole new rate, you'll
Oh, for
really
sure.
upgrade what you can make, and then you can also work your own hours. But if you don't want to do that, you can go get a job. There's lots of doctors hiring our graduates as well.
Yeah, and
There's
that's such a great thing to add. With what you're saying, Reed, is that a lot of our practitioners that go out there, maybe they don't want to start their own business, but they make a great partner for somebody else, right? They make a great partner for a wellness clinic, a doctor, a chiropractor, or even other practitioners. It's
yeah,
there's nothing wrong with being a part of a team as opposed to creating your own thing. But either way, this training really gives you a lot of that. We do have another question that came in from Jeremy. He says, I keep seeing Facebook ads for another functional nutrition and diagnostics, I believe is also in the name. How is that program different, or how is this program different? And then what is the suggested price for clients to get help? Can you do the testing long distance for your clients, or are you limited to local clients? There's a couple questions in there. So for one, I think what makes us different than most of these other training programs is most definitely our community and our resources, and our specific tailored labs that we teach are foundational and easy, and we give you access to them. You don't have to pay a subscription service to get those. You can just order labs once you get certified as you need to for your clients. And then as far as the other questions here, yes, you can work long distance, you can work locally, but I'd love to kind of touch on the suggested price for clients, Reed. I know that we teach the package pricing, so I wonder if you can touch a little bit on that for Jeremy.
yeah. Well, thanks for the question, Jeremy. And there are other courses now. When I started back in 2008, there were not. We were the actual pioneers. I still think we're way ahead of the game because number one, of the kind of lab work that we teach.
Mm-hmm.
It's the kind that your clients all really need to run. It's the hormones and the immune system, digestion, detoxification function, and other things. So you have to get that data. I don't think anyone teaches it the way I do.
No.
A lot of people have learned what they're teaching from someone else instead of from the pure hardcore experience like I did. I ran thousands and thousands of labs on thousands of people. I had great mentorship, but I made my own observations about who got well and who didn't. And that's what forms the basis of FDN is, I've run all the labs and worked with Mrs. Smith and Mr. Jones and thousands of people and seen what works and doesn't and codified all that into a system. That's what made our clinic so successful. Why I was one of the busiest practitioners in the country until I started teaching. So I think all the other programs are based on going and getting some training and kind of massaging it and duplicating it. A lot of it's coming from the labs. I got trained by them too 15 and 20 years ago, but really no one has the hardcore experience with face-to-face clients that I have. It's one of my claims to fame. So rather than to learn what you would learn in our course, you'd have to go spend 5 years in a clinic running labs. So you
Yeah.
can go spend 5 years in a clinic running labs, getting your own experience, making your own mistakes. And some of the mistakes I made were costly. And you don't want to do that. You want to learn from me, from that person who's gone and done it for you.
Yeah.
That's something in no other course that I know of teaches. And so it's not theoretical; it's practical.
Yeah.
And that's I mean, there's lots of other stuff about the course that makes it different and better. Just mentioned the community, the amount of fun we have. The post grad program is unparalleled.
Yeah.
And on and on. Not only that, but we're gaining our notoriety. You go to some of these places now and mention FDN, that you're an FDN. Oh, well, they already start looking up to you. It's true.
So what would you say about pricing yourself, Reed? Like, how would you
Yeah.
go about that?
Well, it's a pure fee for service. So let me ask you something. If you were going to go hire a lawyer to help you with some transaction or some trouble you're in, some difficulty you're having. People coming to us, they have difficulty with their health. So if you're going to go hire a lawyer to do that, that lawyer would charge you a fee for service.
Mm-hmm.
I know my lawyer always tells me to write him a check for 5 or 10 grand. And guess what? Because he's an expert in his field and I know he's going to help me solve my problem, I write the check. And so it's like that for you too. Would you go hire a $500 lawyer for $1,000 case?
Yeah.
You wouldn't. You'd hire a $10,000. So you can charge what you want. I would recommend that you charge fees that are going to allow you to support yourself really well. And let me explain what I mean by that. So you're going to charge enough to each person you work with. Direct fee for service is professional fees, like a lawyer, because you're going to counsel them and give them stuff to do. And you've obviously been trained. You're going to have to earn back the money you spent on training and things like that. So you want to keep your prices up so that you're getting paid well, so that you can stay dedicated to what you're doing and motivated, and also so that you work from wherever you want.
Yeah.
So me, I go down with my wife to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, all the time. I was just in Miami, like I said. Before that, I was in Arizona. I go around the country, and I can work from my laptop. I don't have to be in an office. Matter of fact, I gave up working in an office about over 10 years ago. And what would you add to that?
I'd also say that, we teach in the program how to package. So you're going to include the lab pricing and your fees, also your time and your expertise. But the pricing also is going to be a barrier for entry of people who aren't going to do the program, right? If somebody's going to give you $5,000 to work with you, they're going to be really serious, because that's a good chunk of money coming out of somebody's pocket if they're going to pay up front for that. So you really want somebody who's dedicated to their health and who's willing to follow what you have to say. So they're going to get the most out of that program, right? Like, they're going to get the most out of their health and have the most compliance. And then they're really going to see results, which then is just going to trickle to them referring people to you because you help them, and just keep building your client base that way. So I know that some people can feel a little bit weird about saying, I charge $5,000 for my package, but you have to think too, it's the type of people that you're bringing in for the type of work that you're doing. So you have to price yourself appropriately so that you can live and keep dedicating yourself, so you're not focused on other things trying to bring money in. But also, it's going to change the type of client that comes to you also. They're going to be a little bit more serious if they're having to pay a higher price like that.
That's a really good point. You want to attract people that are willing to invest in their health. If they're out there and they're eating the cheapest food, and they don't belong to a gym, and they won't invest in something to do with their health, then they're not good customers anyway. So you only want people who are going to be compliant, and people who have, I call it, like, they got their own checkbook. They don't have to check with their spouse. They're just going to write you the check or a credit card, whatever it is, and they're just going to do it because they're going to be sick and tired of going from one practitioner to the next. Our promise to people is we want to be the last person you have to see.
Yeah.
We're going to help you resolve the metabolic chaos that's causing your problems. We're not symptom based. We're not going to sell you some crap to make your symptoms lessen.
Yeah.
We want them to go away permanently by changing the infrastructure, so to speak, the anatomy, the physiology, the biochemistry. These things have to change, and you can reverse almost everything going on today. There's some problems that might have gone too far, where
Yeah,
they need to continue to see a doctor. But you're going to be able to work around it, around everything else. So
most
that's
definitely.
and you want to be able to first of all, you want your own health, so you have to be able to afford a gym and or equipment for your house, the time to exercise too, and the time to do other things that are very rewarding. You want emotional wealth that comes from doing a good job and job satisfaction and knowing you're doing the right thing by people and not just selling them some crap. You're actually helping them. Geographical freedom comes from having your own business, being able to work your own hours, being able to go where you want, and work with people all over the world. I think it sees also as, do they have to be local people? No. Matter of fact, your best bet is to build up clientele in America, United Kingdom, Australia, and Canada, because we have it going on, especially in the United States. People here have really good jobs. They have really a lot of extra money. It's a pretty wealthy country, and there are 300 million people here. So you want to start building up your U.S. business from wherever you live. If you have any relatives here, start with them, and then you start working your way through the resources available to you, internet and things like that, and build up your American business, because they can get the labs done, and they don't care where you are, as long as you're there to help them and there when they need you. You'll be in really good shape.
Yeah, and that's the great thing is these are at-home lab tests. These are urine, stool, saliva, very few blood tests. So you can really have them shipped almost anywhere. And if we don't have availability in some areas, then we have an alternative option in those areas. So you really can work with people long distance in different countries. Like, it doesn't really matter. And our training gives you that ability and scope to work with people from all over the world. No matter what issues they're dealing with, we have a solution to help them in some way. And that's the beauty of our training, is that it's so foundational that you really can do so much with it. And yeah, I mean, we've had some great questions today. I just want to make sure that you guys know, if you haven't enrolled in the course yet, please comment below, especially if you're watching this on a replay. We're going to connect you with one of our course advisors, because this month, if you enroll for the FDN training program, you're going to get the Advanced Oxalates course for free. So it's a great compliment. So you're basically getting 2 courses for the price of 1. Yeah, you definitely want to enroll. And Reed just sent me a message. You guys, you got to do it. You got to enroll, become a part of the community. You're going to help yourself. You're going to help other people. And, the sky's really the limit, right, Reed?
Yep. So it's, I think this is only a half-hour show.
Unless anybody has any other questions, but I think we got some really good questions today.
Yeah, do they know how to get into the chat to chat with you, like the website and stuff like that? Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, if you guys go to our website, functionaldiagnosticnutrition.com, there is a little chat box where you can chat with one of us, get all of your questions answered, and we can help you to get started whenever it is that you're ready. Aziza said thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. If you go to fdntraining.com.
Same thing.
Yep. I'm going to put it up on the screen here. Just go to fdntraining.com and get all of your questions answered, get you set up and enrolled in the course so you can start helping yourself and other people today.
Hey, thanks. Great job, Jessica. Sorry I have to go.
No worries. Thank you so much, Reed. Thank you guys for joining us, for all of your questions. This is Health Coach Tip Tuesday. I'm your host, Jess Del Pino. Join us every Tuesday live at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern on Facebook and YouTube, and replays on IGTV later in the week. I'll see you guys next week. Have a great day, Reed.